All right, we have a fire. What I don't have is a good light. I thought this light would, fill in, but I guess we learn. We learn as we go. I wanted a bit of a fire tonight. It might be the only chance I have. Although, well, no, I mean, we're supposed to get freezing rain and snow and, oh geez, but hey, that's why I'm out here, right? The wood's really wet. I don't know if this will take. I did the best I could. I found the driest wood I could find, but you can hear it. It's simmering up. It's what's the word? If I can just get a bed of coals. Oh wait, something just came up there. If I could get a bed of coals going, that would be great. Yeah, I should cut this one in half, I think. We don't want a long fire, we just want a good fire. We just want a good fire. Oh, we're going to burn the mushroom at the end of this one. I wonder if this mushroom's going to scream out and go, no! Help me! And my little poker stick. Oh, that almost burnt me. Yeah, so I wouldn't normally be doing this on trail. Honestly, I don't expect to get much opportunity for fires. But yeah, I mean, So yeah, I'm going to try to get down there a bit early. It all depends. I have to take care of some personal business first at home. I've got some issues going on, but and that should be okay soon, maybe, kind of, sort of. I don't know. We'll see. Where do I see the quality of this? Oh, it's got the ISO way up high. Okay. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, so apparently this camera doesn't do so hot in the dark. But I've got it focused on the fire itself, so if everything else is blurry, who cares? There's your light source. Yeah, so I've got I bought a brew, so my first impression, and this is the second one now, is my night core has been charging my camera and my drone. And the drone doesn't really, those batteries, they don't actually take up a lot as far as milliamp hours. And the thing's down from five bars to 2, just like that. And this is a 20,000 milliamp, brand new battery pack, and expensive. I mean, I could have bought 3 Anchor, but the Anchor I have, the 10,000 that's in there, is fine, Yeah, so sorry, I just had to go take care of some stuff. What was I going to say? I do really like a fire, though. I do. I love having a fire. I wish the light would work a little better. Maybe I could take this light Flash this up here. There, that's a little better. There. Hey! Now, I don't know if it kind of wrecks the effect of the fire, but it is what it is. It's all I have for light. So I'll get a better light for night for when I come out for these shakedowns and stuff. Lighting's important. It just seems like this battery's dead or something, or it just doesn't have much power to it. Well, thought I could get by with that. Turns out I was wrong. So I would play you a song if I had my guitar here. I think we have enough coals there to keep the wet stuff, like to dry the wet stuff out. Oh, oh, yeah, no. Oh, I'm gonna still smell like smoke. So anyways, yeah, it's been a good day so far. It's had its ups and downs, like any other day. What else can I tell you about my trip next year? Slow and steady. I do have a plan on how I'm going to attack it, just because I know my own body and I know hiking. I mean, I've been hiking since I was 12. Been camping since I was 4 months old. It's all we ever did every weekend, every summer. Was camp when I was very, very young. And it's in my blood. It really is. I think everything else outdoors stemmed from those early days of camping with my mom and dad. I was an only child. My father wanted a son so bad because he's the last in line descendant of King Stephen of Hungary. And sorry to disappoint you, Dad. 4 years old, he was teaching me all this stuff that I guess I have use for it. I don't know. I mean, I did make use of it. I mean, I would sit on the bumper, he'd open the hood of his car, and my legs would be down inside the engine, and I'd be sitting on the bumper watching him work on engines. And he taught me everything he knew about building hot rods. So I went on to build quite a few pretty fast cars. I mean, yeah, very fast cars. The latest one being a 2009 Mustang. Got me in a lot of trouble, that car. Almost lost my license. Couldn't like pull up to a set of lights with a cop beside me. I'd have to wait for him to go on, because there was no way for that car to start off the line without leaving some rubber on the road. And it was geared too, so there was just no way. It had a really touchy 2-stage clutch in it. Boy, that thing would bite. That clutch was hairy. You'd drop it, you'd be coasting along and somebody want to run you. You drop a gear, and as soon as you drop the gear and go to put the, that clutch would grab so hard. Most people couldn't drive that car. It was just too... I don't know if any of you know about cars, but the clutch I had was a double plate. It was a double, it's called stage 2, meaning a single clutch with a single plate wouldn't work for some of the torque you have to put on these things. That Mustang had a Ford 9-inch rear end, 3-speed. Yeah. Then I got another one. A Mustang is a 2011 California Special. The 5-liter. And at the time, I promised my roommate I wouldn't touch it till the warranty was up on it. I made that promise. I kept the promise. But 3 years, warranty was up. There I went. Didn't go too crazy on that. Put in a 108mm Garrett turbo on it. Got a tune by John Lunn down in Pennsylvania. Put a bigger oil pan on it. £100 injectors. It was blue, powder blue. It was beautiful. But the red one, geez. I was over at the club one night golfing after golf. Had a couple drinks, didn't want to drive. So my friend said, I'll drive you home. She's like, holy crap. She was flipping out. Of course, me drinking and stuff, I'm like, hold on to it. Don't let it go. Steering's real tight on it. You don't have to crank it. Little quarter turns, tiny, tiny corrections. And the problems were compounded by the fact that I hadn't done any work to the suspension in the rear end, in the back. I was going to get to that. But things happened. My roommate died, and I got diagnosed with cancer, and sold off all, well, not all, most of my real estate. And then, yeah. Wine and dined somebody for a few years just to see it all go to hell. Through no fault of my own either. I looked back on it and I did nothing. Nothing. Except be there the whole time and like I say, some people compete. I see the power struggle in couples all the time. I can't live that way. But that's the new world order. It really is. And I'm not in the game. I give up. You win. See ya. I can't live that way. And I hate it when people like that push me to being how I know I'm not usually. how I'm not supposed to be, because I've just never been that way. But it does happen. It doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me weak. But the people who really know me would overlook those moments because they know me better. I like the fire low like this. It'll burn longer and slower, and we've got a half decent bed of coals, so it should continue on. I don't have much wood here anyway. I went down to tree over there and it got dark, and then I went back to, I could only carry back some of it, which is what you see, and then I went back to find it and I couldn't find it. In the dark, I had my light going, I was looking everywhere, and I downed it. It was a fair-sized tree, you know. I'll probably find it in the morning, and I will bring it back so that I can leave some firewood for the next people that come. It's nice in the winter because with the leaves all off, you can really spot the dead trees, the dry ones. Never ever cut down a live tree. Never. But if the thing's ready to fall anyways, hey, I mean, yeah, I only had to take one cotton ball. Just buy a little thing of Vaseline and a little thing of cotton balls, you know, for makeup remover and stuff, or whatever you use them for, I don't know. And just dip them in the Vaseline, put them in a little bag, like a Ziploc bag, and you're good to go. You don't need to go spend $10-20 on Esbit cubes or rods. Or the ferro rods work good, but they're heavy. I mean, they're like 8 ounces. It's crazy. A few petroleum jelly like Vaseline weighs nothing. I mean, Vaseline is heavy, but you don't need a lot of it. This thing just and it burned for a long time too. It burned for like 3-4 minutes, which is, I think, pretty good. I don't know. How long do you want a fire starter to burn? You have to ask yourself. So yeah, I don't know how many days this hike's going to last. My big goal is to get through the next 2 days with and get into the inclement weather to sort of reproduce what I'm going to have next spring, because I'm leaving early. I mean, everybody's warning me, everybody's telling me, February, it's going to be rough as soon as you get up in that first mountain. But you see, I'm not going to camp at the top of these mountains. I'll come down to the gap or the notch or whatever they call it. The East Coast calls it something different than the West Coast. I think it's called notch on the AT, and I think they're called gaps on the PCT. I have to look that up. Somebody can correct me. PCT, now there's a trail I like to go to, but I gotta wait because California, they got some massive fires going on. There's closures everywhere. It would just be a logistical nightmare to go there now, and I'd be no help to anybody. I'd just be in people's way. It makes me cry to think of all the people that lost their homes already in Northern California, up near Oregon. I can't really even watch TV anymore. I can't watch the news. It just depresses the crap out of me. I mean, I know it's real and it's something you're supposed to keep up on and And you can't have an opinion about something if you don't know all the facts. And so you try to keep up in the news and current affairs and, you know, the political environment and so on. But I just can't. You know what? It's just so overwhelming sometimes. I mean, especially if you're already trauma bonded, you know. That's a psychology term. You know, it's like a dog. You beat a dog long enough, eventually the dog doesn't feel right unless he's being beaten. Sorry about all the smoke, everybody. It's probably really interfering with the video. This fire might die, actually. I might have to help it out a bit. Wood's really wet. We had a super dry season at the beginning, like in the spring and early summer, but August came around in all of Ontario, and well, in Quebec too. I mean, when I was on the IAT, I didn't see rain for like 3 weeks, almost into September, and then it just seemed like it rained every day. Get up in these mountains with, was that one, what mountain was I on? It was like an 8-inch ledge. But they did put a rope. They put a rope across, and you just held onto the rope, and it was, 2,000 feet down. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have my trail runner slip on that. I don't know how bad it'll be on the AT. I'm getting over my fear of heights. I don't mind going to the mountains. I just don't like being on the edge where I can't get, if I can see level ground, then looking over, like having level ground here and looking down, I can look down forever. But I mean, I remember a few years ago with my ex, I was in BC, and we went up to the top of this mountain, and we took a, what do you call that, cable car, gondola, something, whatever they're called, and I had no bearing. Like, I had no, like, where was ground? You know what I mean? It was just so and the thing is swaying, and so, like, I have no bearing. It's like the ocean. I get seasick. So I need level ground to give me that sort of reference point. But I will say this, though. She did say, look at the mountain. Just, like, turn around. Don't look away from the mountain. Look at the mountain. And that helped. That really did help. It's the tallest, highest restaurant in the world. Highest elevation restaurant in the world. That was kind of cool. That was out near Golden, BC. Forgot the name of it. But I'm going back anyways in 2 years, so I'm going to do the whole GDT. I think it's called GDT, Great Divide. Yeah. Yeah, there's the PCT and the AT, and then my mind's a blank. I know it, and I can't even think. Yeah, this fire's dying. Needs help. Can't find any real good wood around here. There, we'll get some air underneath it. That'll help. There we go. So yeah, I'm new to this whole content creating stuff. I mean, I have the information. Like I say, I've been doing this off and on all my life, but conveying it and getting the message across in a pleasant and informative manner, I think that's a learning process. Why did I pick this seat? Yeah. And I think I should do stuff that's more conducive to people my age, or, you know, even just a little older. Our reality is different. You know, when I was hiking as a kid, I would just go. I mean, you know, aches and pains was unheard of. It was just literally unheard of. It's down to 1 dot. This is crazy. 20,000 power bank. 20,000 milliamps. You got to at least be able to get 2 charges out of. Anyway. So I'm going to let this fire burn out, and it'll be done in about an hour. I feel like I'm blabbing, but sometimes it's better just to stick with the script. And I tend to open up too much too. I've been accused of that. But that's me. I mean, I put it out there. I don't really hold back. I don't. Private people, sure, great, yeah. But who cares? I don't really care. I don't have anything I'm ashamed of or anything I'm we all have stories. We all have lives. We've all had hardships. And hopefully we come out the other side better than we were. But that's not always the case. Some people don't bounce back from hardships in their life. My parents didn't, that's for sure. They came over during the Hungarian Revolution, and they suffered. My mother was the youngest of 13 kids. I lived in Budapest. And Budapest, in case you don't know, is it's actually 2 cities, Buda and Pest. And without sounding bigoted or something, I like Buda is the more progressive people, the richer people. They're all the people with the education and the money and the wealth, like everything. Pasht, they're more farmers and gypsies, and a lot of gypsies. And my mother's side's all gypsy. But the food, oh man, I couldn't live there. I went there last year in April, and had to fight for some property that was being taken by the government. And I went over there and made sure that it was secure and stayed in the family. Nobody else had the means to do that. I've got a very corrupt government over there right now. It's really, what's his name, Corbin or something, whatever, I can't remember. He's a dick anyways. I don't follow it that closely, but my family tells me they want me to move back there, but I can't. I'm too old to make that radical move. I did that already once a few years ago. I moved from Toronto to Ottawa, and I just can't do that again. But what I could do, and I've been thinking about this, seriously thinking about this, is van life. That really appeals to me. But not like not a van like, like a panel van that you just kind of fix up. Something with at least some comforts, like a Class C, like a 30-footer or something built on, say, I don't know, like a Mercedes chassis Infinity or something. Or even a Ford 335 chassis. Some of them, they have all the luxuries. I mean, there's a shower, there's a toilet. Those are kind of important. Shower and a toilet and a full kitchen and stuff like that. But I mean, wouldn't it be great just to drive to the trail and then just pay to park it there and then just go? It would be just so much simpler. Life would just, hitting these trails would be so much easier. And then all you got to do is either flip-flop, back to your vehicle, or just shuttle back somehow, like a bus or whatever. And then when you're not hiking, when you're not on the trail, I mean, you just roll up anywhere, any night, and there's your back door. Could be on a lake, could be in a mountain, could be wherever. I mean, but a nomad style of living. No rent. Well, I mean, I suppose unless you had payments on the vehicle. Yeah, well. I think the world needs this right now with trails and outdoors, and I think COVID's really messed people up. And you can see it. You can see it in the demographics. I mean, there's more people, the class of 22, I'll just call them the class of 22. I can't believe how many hikers are registered to go out next year. I mean, I don't even know if we're going to get spots at campsites, or platforms. It's going to be, wow. Now me going early, having a jump on it, is, hang on, I'm just checking my, I still have 6 hours of SD card. Anyway, yeah, I think me going early, I think it'll be fine for a while. But then you'll get these, these younger kids coming, and they're practically running the trail with their 7 and 8 pound base weight packs. They'll come flying by me for sure. I am not going to push beyond, say, 20 miles a day, and I'll have to work up to that too. With my COPD, it's 20 miles a day is, I mean, if I'm averaging 2-3 miles an hour, that's a good 6-8 hour day. And I think I can sustain that. I think that would be realistic. You know what I mean? I met this really lovely lady on the IAT this summer. And we talked, and she said, oh, I'm going to do this in 5 weeks. And people on YouTube do it. Yeah. But first of all, they hike all the time. They're in shape. And and then they have like amazing gear. So they're like, it's like carrying like carrying nothing. So you got to consider that. You got to, I'm not going to be able to do what a 20-year-old does on the trail. I don't have any delusions about that. I'll never do an FKT. That'll never happen. And the thing too is, I don't want to have to focus on how many miles I'm pushing. I want to enjoy it. It's not like I have to be there. I don't have a job. I'm retired. So if it takes 6 months, it takes 6 months. So what? My only concern is just getting it done in 1 calendar year, because you don't, I think, somebody can correct me on this, I don't think you get credit for that if it's not done in 1 calendar year. You can say you finished it, but I don't know that the ATC recognizes it as done. You know what I mean? I think unless they changed it, I think that you have to have it done within 1 year of starting. So even if, like my friend on the IAT, she got injured. She ended up getting injured and had to come off trail. And it's sad. It's sad that happened, Again, and I don't know the situation of it. I don't know the circumstances, how that happened. I have to get together and talk with her maybe one of these days. I certainly hope that she's not discouraged by it. That would be a shame. That really would be a shame to see somebody walk away from hiking because of something like that. So slow and steady, enjoy it. I intend to eat all the raspberries. I did it this year. I thought, oh boy, I got to lose all this weight. Well, I did. I lost 20 pounds, but I probably wasted an hour a day just stopping, and I have it down. I have a system down. I tell you, you just go in like a rake and just take the blueberry bush and just rake it, and you'll come out with a whole handful. Well, I'd stop every 20 minutes, half hour, and grab a handful, and just my hands were blue from the blueberries. Raspberries are a little different, you have to pick each one, and they're tiny and they're so delicious, so full of flavor. Wild raspberries, wild blueberries. I was grabbing so many blueberries, I was waiting for a bear to come get pissed off at me. Hey, those are mine. Get out of there. Oh man, that's funny. And I ran into a lot of animals in the Gaspé Peninsula. I only ran into one bear though, strangely enough. And it was enough because he was blocking me off. I had there was a lake there on a mountain, so I was wedged by the lake and the mountain, and it was a dead end where the shelter was, and I was trying to backpedal back to the main trail to get back on and continue on. Well, this bear was in the middle of the trail, and it was dense, it was thick, and it was on a rock wall, so there was just no way I was going to sidestep him. So I had to wait. I waited out, and he get curious, and you know how they do that, where they'll go low. He didn't bluff charge me or anything like that, but he wasn't scared of me, and that was unusual for a black bear. Usually black bear, you'll talk real quiet to them a little bit, and then just give them a real sharp yell, and they'll run. They usually run. They don't want to have to fight for nothing unless you got food. Then they might come at you, but they won't. Unless there's profit in it, they won't. They won't risk it. They're not stupid. But no, it took a half an hour before he just kind of meandered off the trail so I could get by him. And even as I was going by him. I mean, I could hear him. I knew he was in the bushes and stuff, but I got through there as quick as I could. But I mean, I saw moose. I saw, like I say, that bear. I saw caribou. I saw tetra, a bird called tetra. Is that a pheasant, by the way? Does anybody know? It's a French name. I think tetra. Anyway, tetras, something like that. I want to say it's probably a partridge or a pheasant, but because that's what it looked like to me. So the one that scared me the most, though, was a lynx. Now, I didn't know it was a lynx at the time. Honestly, I thought it was a bobcat or something. And yeah, so I heard in the bushes, and it was one of those old logging roads, you know, and part of the trail. And I want to say it was around Rousseau. Yeah, it was in Matan. It was definitely in Matan Reserve. And I heard it, and then I saw this cat clinging to a tree. And she was gorgeous, or he, whatever. But now that I think about it, it couldn't have been a bobcat because it had a tail, and it had a stripe down the tail. And the ears were different than a bobcat. But it was a baby. I didn't think at first. And I stopped and I looked at it and I was just talking to it and stuff, and it seemed curious. But and then I thought, oh my, this is a baby. Mama can't be too far away. So I left. I took off quick as I could, because out of all the animals you'll meet out, at least out in Gaspé, they're the only ones that'll actually hunt you. I mean, they're carnivores. They're you know. They team tag it. No, I wasn't going to volunteer for that. Really, that was the only time I was scared. Other time, I mean, I was walking along, and well, it's on video. If you look at some of my videos, you'll see it. A moose came charging through the woods. You can hear them. Boy, they just knock those trees over. They don't care. But the worst part was they came out. They came right through the woods. There's two of them, a baby and a mom. And the mom came through, and she made the path for the baby because the baby came after her. And they came out on the road, and she turned the other way to go away from me, but the baby came and looked at me, looked back, and started getting curious. You know, he'd tip his head, and you could just see the wheels turning. He was considering coming to me, which would have been very bad for me. So finally I turned my back and went the other way, and then I realized I shouldn't do that. So then I turned back around and faced them, but started walking backwards away from them. And Mama was now getting a little not so restless, because she was a little restless at the beginning. Moose won't. They generally won't. I ran into at least 10 moose on that trail, and they'll run away 9 times out of 10. That, like, you really have to be threatening them. They're not carnivores, so they don't. You're of no interest to them, really. Not like the lynx. The lynx, oh yeah, man. Or a mountain lion. Like somebody told me. Who was it that told me? There's mountain lions on the AT. Is that true? I don't know. That would scare me. That would scare me for sure. Because there's a good chance I'll be hiking alone. I don't think I'll be keeping the pace of most of the younger kids. Like Tramley? You kidding? I can barely keep friends. But I am excited about the AT. I am. It'll be a life-changing adventure. One that I hope to share, and also it's just good for me too. I can go back to it any time and recollect what happened. I don't need like 50 SD cards in front of me to sort of load it up and remember it, you know, like a photo album or something. So the video log will be as much for me as it is for anybody else. But I just think with the renewed interest in hiking after COVID, Um, I just think something like that would have more value to it. I think the interest is there. I really do believe that. It's so iconic. The AT is so iconic. One trap I don't want to get into, which I've heard a few people do, is, and you can do this on the AT because it's so densely populated around the neighboring areas. A lot of people, they hardly camp. They hardly pitch a tent or stay in a shelter. A lot of them will just beeline it for the nearest town and spend money on hotels and motels. I mean, that could really, really add up. I've budgeted, and this is in American dollars, I budgeted about $1,200 a month. And I think that's doable, you know, considering I don't eat. My food budget compared to somebody else is just going to be negligent. It's not even going to be, or negligible. It's not even going to be an issue. Like if I spend $40 a week on food, that'd be a lot for me. And it's always been that way. I've just had a super slow metabolism, and I don't get excited. I'm really easy to feed, cheap to feed. Now, beer or a drink now and then, I'm not going to comment. I've been known to tip a few. Just going to say, put it out there. And I will be fasting a lot on trail because it just doesn't agree with me, the food. And this is an issue. This is a real problem for me because I've been trying different dehydrated meals and stuff. I've been trying Mountain House and Backpackers Pantry and so on. They just rot my guts out. I mean, I can't even tell you how rough I feel after eating that food. This is a real problem for me. I have to sort this out. And I don't know if it's just because it's so heavily processed and chemicals and carbs, super amount of carbs. Everybody on trail, carbs, energy. Well, no. That's actually the reverse. You're going to get some kind of euphoria out of your food. Sure, absolutely, but only because your liver's in overdrive. But most of your energy is going to come from not eating as opposed to eating. You know, eat when you have downtime. You know, if I take a zero and I go into town, then I'll eat. Then I'll gorge, you know, for a day. Well, one meal, but it'll be like a 1 pound steak or something. But then I won't eat for 2 days, you know. And then when I do eat, it'll just be very nominal. This is, I think, why cold soaking really suited me. Because it was real easy to throw together little packets with different, you know, I would get like a ramen noodles and I would add I would get like a Knorr vegetable soup pack mix and just put like half of it into one bag with a thing of ramen noodles and then another ramen noodles and another one, and that would be my Knorr, you know, meal. And that would be like a vegetable, whatever. And then if I had some protein, like if I had some maybe meat or whatever, which I do intend to bring meat for a day or two before I figure it goes bad, then I can always throw that in there too, you know, or couscous. High carbs. Oh, damn. There's no way to get away from it on trail. And then even the trail magic, I mean, what do they give you? They give you chips and pop and, soda and stuff like that, you know. This is a real dilemma for me, food. But we'll deal with it. We'll get into a system, and who knows? I might drop the stove and cold soak again. I don't know yet. One thing's for sure, I don't mind cold coffee. I rather like cold coffee. For some reason, I have no desire to put any kind of creamer in cold coffee. So on the IAT, I would just take, actually, a bottle just that size, like a, what is it, 700 mil? Yeah, I think it's 700 mil. That would be, and I had a designated coffee bottle, you know, and I would just put a pack of coffee in it and a little bit of monk fruit, shake it up and throw it in my pack and go. Saved time. It saved weight because I didn't have to carry a stove. And then usually I'd have cold cuts or nuts. I really enjoyed nuts on trail. Almonds, you know, I loved almonds. And I'd have my lunch, I'd stop, I'd take my shoes off, put my feet high, elevate my feet, and just lay there beside a river or something. And then prepare my dinner, my supper. I had a little talenti jar, and I would just like put my ramen bomb in there and put some water just enough to cover it and shake it up, throw it in the back of my pack. By the time I pulled into camp at 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, depending on the day, it was there. It was all puffed up, you know. Sure, it was cold, but you know what? When it's 90 degrees out, I'm not sure I want a hot meal anyways. So, hey. But these are my thoughts about the AT, you know. I sleep cold, you know, so that's why I got the 20-degree quilt instead of a 30. And it turns out it was only a couple ounces difference anyway. So I thought, what the hell, right? So that's good. That's all taken care of. And a big one too for me actually is One Trekking Polar 2. I've used both. When I went out on the IAT, I only used one, and I loved it. It was fine. And I would switch hands quite a bit. Lately, though, I've been using 2, and I like that too. So I guess it's kind of a little of this, a little of that. People have their own preference. The ones I have right now are so light that I don't even think it's going to matter if I carry 2. But being by myself, that question came up. Am I going to be scared? No. Not at all. I can defend myself if I need to. I won't go into that story in my life because it's way too personal. But I can tell you that I can defend myself against at least 3 guys. Unless they have a gun, I guess. I don't know. Better be a good shot if that's the case. Hang on, I'm just going to get some more wood. Enjoy that fire for a sec. I think there's more here. I hope there is. It's a bit of a stump, but hey. I'm disappointed about the lighting. Sorry about that, everybody. Next time I'll be sure to. I'll get a better light. I'll get a better light. So like this format of a video, me just sitting around the fire and kind of giving you my thoughts and so on. I feel like I'm sitting across from somebody just talking. For me, it's therapy. Really, it is. I'm very alone. My life has been very solitary, and I don't like it. But that's okay too. So yeah, I mean, leave me some comments and ideas if you have them, and or you know, any, especially for those of you who have hiked the AT. And I have had some input, some very constructive input, mostly due to the beginning. You know, I'm warned that, you know, although it's Georgia, it can still get cold up in the mountains. My goal is never to have to camp on a mountain, though. I'm hoping to always, each day, just get down to a gap. Which would always be a little better, but I still do expect snow. I'll be getting snow this week, so it'll be great. I have, you know, the gear I have here is the exact same gear I'm going to start out with. And it's not the gear that I showed you in the loadout. The gear I showed you in that loadout video was right in the thick of summer. For me, a 20-degree quilt and an uber light pad, that's not going to cut it in even this weather. So I mean, I have a 0-degree quilt in my tent right now, and a Neo Air X light, and quite frankly, I would have liked that X light to be an X Therm, you know, or a Nemo Tensor. I love Nemo Tensor. I should review that one day. I've got a few pads. I should review them one day. I've kind of become accustomed to them, and I do have my favorites. The Tensor's great. It's a great pad. It's a little heavier. It's not what I would call ultralight or anything, but it's a good, comfortable pad. Insulated, of course, you know. I mean, unless it's July or August and it's like 100 at night, then I could see that. But I still have to have cushioning underneath me. My hips. I'm a side sleeper, and my hips just... I've slept on hard ground before, and it's not pleasant. So, but back to the whole Tramley thing. I don't know that that's going to happen for me. And a trail name. You know, right now I'm just going on the trail name that was given to me when I was a kid, and that's Incisive. Because I used to be a little sharper, a little more witty, a little more, you know, not so laid back as I am now. I don't know if that was a compliment or what, but I'm guessing not. So if somebody wants to give me a trail name when I get out there, I would gladly adopt a new trail name. And I would use it. I would use it in my videos and my you know. But for now, until I'm dubbed something, I'm almost scared to think of what that could be. Trail names aren't always flattering. And I'm looking forward to the little things like, when is it? I think it's got to be up near, is it Mahoosic Notch? I don't know. Anyway, it's up, it's the ice cream challenge. You got to eat, what, half a gallon of ice cream in a half hour or something? I'm down with that. I don't know what the record is, but me and ice cream, oh yeah. If you give me pistachio mint, wow, look out. I'm gone. I mean, don't blink, because if you do, it's gone. It'll be inhaled. Of course, then I might have to go throw up, but I mean, Because half a gallon of ice cream, that's a lot of ice cream. I think it's half gallon, isn't it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. And McAfee knob, I will not go out on that last little piece. No way, no how. Not a chance. I just don't trust it. I saw that one guy, the young guy, I forgot his name now. Really nice guy, good videos. He was out there on the edge of McAfee knob, and then he was hanging his pack with one finger over the edge. And I was like, really, dude? Really? I mean, come on. If you drop that, then what? What are you going to do? Like, seriously, you're not going to go down and get it. I mean, it'll take you a day to hike down there and get it. And then you may never find it anyway. So, yeah, that's an age thing, I think. You know, as you get older, you just don't take those types of chances, those kind of gambles. Because, I mean, I'll bet you he's got $3,000 in his bag. Yeah, not for me. I'm not that daring. You have to cowboy camp the rest of the way. So yeah, anyway, back to the gear. You know, I did get the raincoat. It's nice. It's a little thinner. It's a little more. It's not as. What's the word? It's not as heavy as I thought it would be. I mean, not a heavy, but I expected it to be light, but I expected it to be a little thicker. But I was in some serious wind today, and I wore it, and it was good. It was good. I haven't had it in the rain yet, but I'll get a chance this week. And that's kind of just what's been added, you know. Also, I am wearing some stuff that I won't be wearing next year. Like I say, I have the 250 weight merino stuff. I'm wearing it actually right now underneath this jacket, my puffy, which, oh, by the way, I love this thing. I do endorse it. If you're considering a puffy jacket, the Enlightened Equipment Apex Torrid. The only thing I would change is the next one, and I will get another one maybe, but I'd rather get the pullover, you know, because it's a half zip, but it has this massive pocket in the front. I would probably go with that. But you know what? And it's synthetic. So if you can find something in synthetic that keeps you as warm as down would at the same weight class, why would you ever have down? I mean, there's some great down jackets out there. Montbell, that 1000 fill, whew, man, that's a nice jacket. But I mean, and that's the beauty. I went and got I sized up the raincoat. So I could wear this puffy under the raincoat. I can layer underneath the raincoat, and it becomes my shell. It becomes my wind shell as well as a raincoat. And it breathes. I noticed that today too. If I had worn the Gore-Tex, I would have been sweating when I got up here. So as great as Gore-Tex is for being waterproof, yeah, I mean, it's I'm not in love with Gore-Tex. I have a few Gore-Tex jackets, and I'm not in love with them at all. They're just so impermeable, you know. There's something I noticed about these today. This one today is it breathed better. You know, I didn't have moisture building up inside of it. And Gore-Tex fails too. I just learned a few years ago that you have to reactivate Gore-Tex every few months, or depending on how much you use it. But if you use it every day, every few months you need to put it in a hot cycle in the dryer to tighten up the fabric and get it back to its original glory, or it'll fail. I mean, it'll wet out, no question. These are things I've learned, and yeah. So what else about the gear? Gaiters. I don't think I'm going to bring gaiters. I've got some dirty girl gaiters at home. but I'm not sure I'm going to bring them. I would, if it was a PCT, yeah, or the Arizona Trail or something, yeah, I would bring them, you know, or even the Canadian, the CDT, or no, that's Continental, the GDT. I might bring them for that. Mostly down at the bottom end, the south end of it. You have more flat land. You're not quite up into the Rockies yet. There, I might consider gators. But I don't know, the AT. I have seen some videos with people that use gators on the AT. But again, you know, that's just something I'm, between now and then, I'll figure it out, you know. What I might do is just try them, maybe, for the first couple, 3 weeks and see how they work out. Oh, sorry, gators, for people that don't know, they go over your shoes. They hook on. I have a little hook down here, and they wrap around your ankle and everything. And then there's a Velcro. There's a little tab down at the back, and you Velcro the gator to. So basically, it affixes itself to your shoe, and it doesn't let rocks and sand and stuff get in your shoe as much. It really helps. It does, but that's assuming you're going to be in sand or rocks. And I don't know that the AT has a lot of that. I mean, I think it's just mostly dirt trails, and a lot of roads. I mean, there's a lot of road walking on the AT. So, what's my plan for that? I don't know. You know, like, again, you know, like if I just try it out and see, you know. And then the other thing is the umbrella. And I got a couple of really good comments the other day on the loadout video that I did about the umbrella, especially other women. There was this one woman there who said, you know, you should bring the umbrella because, especially at that time of year when there's no leaves on the trees, and you go to do your duty, you're going to be buck-ass naked. And an umbrella could be put between you and the people you're trying to hide from, and give you some cover, so to speak, you know. And I never thought of that. That's brilliant. I never thought of that at all. And especially the class of 22. There's going to be so many people. I think it's going to be hard to get any privacy to go do your business. And so, yeah, that's something to consider, you know. And so, anyways, all I'm saying is, I'm keeping the umbrella. I'm gonna bring the umbrella. We'll call it a luxury item, for lack of a better word. Another suggestion by a viewer was 86ing the pump, the sleep pad pump, and getting a bag and just cutting the corner and using that ultralight, you know. I like this. I like this idea because Thermarest gave me a pump sack for my Uberlight, and just for giggles, I weighed it. This thing's like 4 ounces. I'm like, what? Because it is pretty large, you know, and it does have some rubber on it and stuff to affix itself to the wing valve. But then I went and weighed, with the batteries in it, I went and weighed the pump, right? And the pump's only like, I don't know, like, I can't remember now, a few grams. Like, it was nominal amount. I couldn't believe it. The pump was actually almost as light as the pumps, or the airbag, you know. So I thought to myself, at least my idea was, keep the pump, right? And again, for those that don't know or just haven't got there yet, you really want to avoid blowing up your air pad, your sleeping pad. I might have said this already, but what happens is every breath you take has moisture in it, you know, little particles of moisture, and they build up inside. and mold will form inside, and it'll break down the barrier, the little insulating barrier, and eventually fail. And also add a lot of weight. Believe it or not, over like a month or two of breathing into this thing, and the mold has moisture in it. Mold can't live without moisture. So if there's mold there, you know it's saturated with moisture. So it's weight. All of a sudden your 10-ounce sleeping pad's 14 ounces or 15 ounces. And I mean, that's insignificant. That's not really even the biggest factor in it, but it's just one of many things to consider. So I do endorse highly using a pump or an inflating sack or something, pump sack, to fill your mat up. Now, that being said, I have been known at times in the middle of the night when I don't want to go looking around in my ditty bag for the pump. Sometimes you blow you inflate your pump and it's warm. Maybe it's sunny out still. And then it gets cold and the pad, not compresses, but gets smaller, gets like not as firm. And I have blown into them to just top it up. Like if I lay on a pad and my hip's hitting the ground, I know it's not inflated enough for me. And for me, a perfect pad inflating is just barely enough to get my hip off the ground. Then because I want it as deflated as I can, so that it kind of follows my body more, and I just find it more comfortable. And I also find it holds you on the pad more. If my pad's super inflated and hard, I tend to roll off it, especially the thermarists, because they're horrible for that. I don't like the way they do their baffles, the sideways baffles. I'm forever falling off them. I still got a wide. I went and got a wide purposely, because I'm sorry, 20-inch wide, that's not good enough for me. And of course that takes up more room in your tent. This tent, this Altiplay, not that wide to begin with, trust me. It's not like you can bring your gear in the tent. They'll tell you that. They'll say you can bring your gear in the tent with you. And that might be true if you had a 20-inch pad, because this tent is 36 inches wide. So 16 inches, yeah, you could get away with it. You could maybe get your pack in there. And I do put my bags in there, though. I do put my clothes in my ditty bag and my electronics bag and so on. But yeah, that's it. I don't really go beyond that. Okay, well, we've been recording for over an hour. I hope that I got a chance to go into a little more depth about my thru hike next year and the gear that I used or am using. I wanted to sort of take this opportunity to show you how I function and how I sort of approach camp, coming into camp. I like to take care of everything real quick first and just get everything done, and then I can relax if I want, or I go to bed early if I want, which is going to happen a lot. You pull into camp 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. You just set up and go to bed. I don't know how it's going to work for me with 30 tents there. That's why I went with the underpad. This is the first time I'm using the Dyneema underpad. What do you call it? An underpad. Ground sheet, sorry. So I'll see tonight. But basically, the Tyvek is only 2 grams, or a couple grams lighter, which shocked me, by the way. It really shocked me. I couldn't believe it. It's only a couple grams lighter, and it's crinkly. Wow, does it ever make a noise? You add that to the X-Lite, I call it potato chip bag. It's like, bear would hear you from a mile away. Can you imagine 30 or 40 other people sleeping beside you? Wow. No, I'm not sure I would appreciate that. But I will absolutely absolutely get myself some earplugs. Because another thing that really bothers me is snoring. I just can't fall asleep when somebody's snoring. I don't know what it is. I could have trucks going by on a highway. I could have any other thing going, but snoring, I just don't know what it is. And if for some reason, it's only when a man snores. I have this affliction. It's this allergy to men. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love them to death, but there's a few things about, and don't get me wrong, some women snore too, a lot, like heavy, but to me it just doesn't have that tone, that timbre to it, that, you know, the deepness, the depth of it. I can't sleep. I just can't. I'll toss and turn all night. So I will get earplugs. Absolutely. Little foam, super light. I might grab a couple pair in case I lose one or something, but and I've got like hundreds of them at home from, well, my job from before. They used to give them to us for hearing protection. Not that it mattered, because I go crank my amp up when I played guitar, blast my ears out. My hearing's still pretty good for my age. And I will just go on the record, and I don't know if I'll go too far in admitting it, but I can tell you I'm 60. I'm not a baby. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot am I a baby. It went so fast. So fast. Especially this last 5 years. I can't believe how fast it went. Like if I had have just not done what I did, not come to Ottawa, not do any of that, and just stayed where I was and just kept on. Hindsight is 20/20, you know? It's stupid for me to say that because you just don't know. But my life would have been so much different. I never regret, though. I never regret the time I have. I never regret the people I meet. I don't, because something good comes out of everything. You know? So now you know a little more about me and what I'm about and what I do and what my career was and what my pleasures are, what I like to do, you know, all those things. So this is good. This is, I think, a productive little campfire chat. Yeah. Even though we're an hour and 15 minutes into it, I don't know if anybody's ever going to want to watch this video, but I'm going to post it for those that do. Another thing I want to bring up real quick is, and I'm sure this question's been asked a lot, do people hook up on trail? And would I? And you're on trail for 6 months. I mean, you know, we're all adults here. We have needs. We have wants and desires. And how do I say this nicely? You know, having been in a lot of bands and on tour and shit like that. Oops, sorry. I mean, yeah, it's inevitable. It happens. But on trail, yeah, I don't know. First of all, everybody's going to be younger than me anyway. I won't find anybody my age. Or I might, but I don't, you know, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I'm not out there for that. So it's not going to be something I focus on. Am I going there for love? Am I going there for... No, I'm not. No. I have no interest in that anymore, at least for now anyways. Way too trauma bonded for that. No, I'm going for the views. I'm going for the solitude, which I probably won't get. But I'm going for the therapy aspect of it. As human beings, as we've evolved, I think being indoors, I don't think that's healthy for us. I think our whole physiology and our needs, like 2/3 of North America are deprived of vitamin D, extremely, like massively. People have been focusing and talking about magnesium, but vitamin D and magnesium and calcium, all those minerals, they all kind of go together. When I was out on the IAT this year, I slept better, you know. My skin was better, my digestion was better, as long as I stayed away from Mountain House. I had more energy. And oh, did I ever sleep good? Wow. After a month in the sun, yeah, you know, fresh air and exercise and sun, and I mean, we're designed for that. Millions of years. We really only had last 3,000 or 4,000 years did we actually start building buildings, you know. Like, we didn't really have our shelter. I mean, even my people, like Hungarians, they lived in tents right up until like 500 years ago. Okay, well, maybe longer than that. Maybe 1,000 years ago. But, I mean, we were very nomadic. And the longevity, like, my grandfather was 107 when he died. My grandmother was 106. And then my parents come over to Canada. My dad died at 60. My mom died at 55. That's crazy. Aluminum. I'm telling you. Progressive supranuclear palsy. He had such a, when they did an autopsy on it, he had such a massive buildup of aluminum in his cerebral cortex. He just started driving on the wrong side of the road and forgetting things and doing, I mean, like, we are not a family that has any history of that. So, and even me, I mean, I was you know, my memory was put in question. I don't want to go into details about it, but my memory was put in question a year ago, and because I seemed foggy, and I was super carb overloaded. I was hypertensive. I went and did blood work. I had cortisol. My cortisol numbers were through the roof. So I was stressed to the max. And I couldn't say anything. The people around me, especially one person, I couldn't say anything. Nothing I could say would be met with welcoming. It would always be taken so personally and so as an affront, as an attack. So you tend to just shy down and internalize. But then it's too late and you explode. You hit your breaking point, and you have to do what's good for you. If any situation you're in your life manifests itself to being a physical ailment, yeah, no, that's not good. That's not healthy. And like I say, everybody's got a story. Everybody's gone through hardships. Everybody's done their share of it. Mental health out on trail. Let's talk about that for a minute. A thru hike of that length is a marathon. Staying happy on trail, content, and not getting too discouraged by the pain that you're going to have to endure. I mean, I'm going into this with my eyes wide open. Nobody is going to be able to, enlighten me about just how hard that's going to be. I've trained all my life. I've done all that. I believe that slow and steady wins the race. If I have to take a 0, I will. But mental health, your happiness factor. If you have stress at home and you have, say, unpaid bills or family members, maybe ill or something, or maybe you have a mortgage that's overdue. I do believe that being on trail for extended periods of time could affect people mentally. You get so isolated from, your family and your friends. I mean, for me, it's not a problem. I don't have family, but I do have some friends, a few friends, not many. And tons of acquaintances, thousands. But I'm going to miss them. I am. And so I am not against the idea of possibly during the time next year coming off trail and maybe fly home for a couple weeks or a week, whatever. I mean, how bad could it be? You recharge, you get your body back to normal, because you're going to be in pain. My right knee is pretty bad. I took a really bad spill at the IAT, and for some reason, ever since then, the MCL is pretty bad. And I am going to bring a what do you call that? Like a compression brace or something. I might. I don't know yet. I think if I just keep one in the pack, at least it's there if I need it. So, with flying home maybe and just catching up with friends and just kind of change the pace a little bit might be healthy, Either that or just fly down to Cuba or something and just lay in the sun for a while. Mental health on trail, though. It's an issue. I'm sure it's an issue. It won't be that bad for me. What else about the trail? I've covered food. I've covered happiness, mental health. Oh, actually, no, I shouldn't say that, because I'll be happy. I mean, I think anybody that's out there in that environment, I'll be ecstatic about that. Relationships are stressed, are definitely strained. You need a good support structure. I've said it. I've always said it. A thru hiker doesn't do it alone. A successful thru hiker has a great support system on a number of different levels, whether it's psychologically, somebody just to talk to and maybe dump on a bit from time to time, somebody to help you with maybe boxes, delivering, sending out boxes with food and clothes and maybe gear, like if you need something. Somebody to manage your residence at home. I think that's important. Are we out of wood? Hang on, guys. Just checking. Yeah, so I don't think this will burn, but I'm going to stick the end of it in there anyways. This looks really, really wet. Oh, I flashed that at you. Sorry. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Anywho, I think I've covered just about everything. I love this though. I love this format, this idea. I just came up with this last night. Do a little fireside chat and just kind of go into a little more detail about, I mean, probably nobody will watch this video anyways, but it's not like I'm doing anything, I mean, I'm here and it gives me a chance to kind of just air out and give some air to some of the thoughts I'm having, some of the trepidations I'm having, concerns, etc. Not the least of which is like COVID or something like that. Like, do I bring a mask? I've got this buff, this gator, which I'm hoping at least will be enough if I just pull it up over my face, which I do now, and it seems like nobody is too concerned about it. Some places you go, they do though. They'll make you put like an N95, mask on. I don't know how it's going to be in the States for that. And being that there will be so many people on trail, this could be an issue. I don't know. Again, I don't know. This COVID thing's all so brand new. I don't know how that's going to pan out. I do know they just opened up the borders to the U.S. last week. I think it was Monday. Yeah. That's good news. And it's funny because I was trying so hard to make sure that I had single vaccines, Moderna. So that's what I chose. And then the U.S. said, "Oh well, we're thinking of not letting people with mixed vaccines come in. So if you had one Pfizer and one Moderna." So, and this is why I really pushed for having one, But now they announced that they don't care. Now they're saying, hey, mixed vaccines are okay. So that's good. Whew. That's one less concern for me. Not that it matters anyway, because I pushed for one, but I could see where that could have been an issue for some people. And oh wow, is it getting cold? It's got to be near zero. I gotta get the the water filter, and my electronics. I'll be right back. So yeah, I'm gonna try to put this. I don't know if it'll fit. I'm gonna try it. This fleece over top of my hoodie. I hope that's not making too much noise for you. So that's 4 layers now. And I'm still wearing my hiking pants, so I'm going to oops, sorry, that's probably loud. That's 4 layers on the top. When I get into my tent, I'm going to put 2 merino layers, and then I'm going to put these back on top, over top. These are probably useless for that because they're very sheer, very thin. I'm also going to put an extra pair of socks on. So that'll be 3 pairs of socks. Let's see, what else have I got? Whew, I am shaking. I mean, I am freezing. And I just checked. It's -2. I'm thinking of boiling up some water, putting it in this, and putting it into my foot box. I just went to my tent and I put my electronics bag and my water filter is right here, so it's going to go in with me. I'm just going to leave it like this. It's got water in it, but it can be an insulator, so actually I think it's frozen, almost frozen. Yeah. Leave my stove out here. It'll be fine. And this fire's almost dead, so I'm gonna, I think, call it a night. I've covered all the topics I was hoping to cover with you. And one of my battery packs is already dead. This shocks the hell out of me, but hey, that's what a shakedown is, right? Turns out the anchor packs are the most convenient, or sorry, most reliable. So that's what I'm going to do. Just going to go back to using an anchor, I think. I'll give it one more shot. I will. I'll give it one more shot, but as it stands. I mean, I paid close to $200 for that night core. It was supposed to be like the best you could get, but hey. So I'm gonna say goodnight, and we'll see you in the morning. See ya.